we're here to talk about connectability to kids. It's very casual. Please ask questions. I think the main point of all of this is that there is a wealth of information for everybody. And I think the information is applicable to parents. It's applicable to professionals. I use it on a daily basis in my role as a consultant, often sharing information with families, whether it is resources or workshops. There's just so much to see. So kind of what we're going to do today is go a little bit through what is here and sort of some of the things that you guys can access. I will start here. So basically, when you go to the home page, you can connect on kids. You can see that at the top, there's a bunch of different tabs. It'll bring you straight to kids. And so the first sort of thing you're going to see are a bunch of boxes and then all sorts of other boxes going down. And so if we click on this first one, this is basically connected families. And what this is a place for families to go and I think professionals as well, and ask questions, get answers. And, you can see some have more activity than others. But, I think if one person is thinking it and has the question, there's probably others who have that question too. So that's a really cool place to go. Then we have the visuals engine. This is something for families, especially because the board maker pictures through Mayor Johnson website, they're actually not often available. I don't know if they're available for free now. I think you have to pay for a subscription. And so what's great about this is you have access to it through connectability. And so what you can do is you can do one of two things, either pop in your own pictures that you pulled from the web, pictures of your family that you want to have available. Let's say you're making a visual schedule of your daily routine and you want to have pictures of the actual child that you're working with or pictures of your child. You can actually take those pictures and you can create different types of visual supports for kids and for adults too. And so what's great too is you can actually go in and it's going to show you the different types of choices or options that you have for different ways that you can use visuals, whether it's a choice board, circle time board, labels, rules, and so on and so forth. And so I'll give you an example here. So if we go into schedules, we'll see it open up, and then it kind of gives you just a quick, brief description of what that's about and how you can use it. And then for more information, you can see that there's some tip sheets about using visuals and actually a workshop about visuals as a communication tool. So super fun and lots of stuff that we can discover. And so you'll see mini schedules, first then board, I want board, token economy, all sorts of stuff. So let's go back over here and you can see resources. So the resources page has basically a directory of everything and anything in Ontario if you're looking for different services and what is out there and what is available. And so there are direct links to all of these different websites as well. If we go down, it's broken up into regions. And so if we go down here to Toronto region, which is where we are right now, we will see some different ones. And if there's ever anything that is not available that you don't see, please let us know and we will add it in. Right, Jason?
Right, the little orange tab on the side.
Yes, please. So we're constantly adding information and trying to keep the most up-to-date information. So the team works really hard to make sure that all of that stuff is good information for everybody to learn from. So as you can see, they go in alphabetical order of the different topics, everything from adapting and accommodating an environment to anger management program, as you can see here, which is a great program for children 2.5 and up, and basically just helps children learn how to manage emotions and manage their anger. And so if we go in, we can see that there are 6 sessions. And typically what happens is these sessions are being run by parents, professionals, anyone who has a feeling that they can do it. And I think everyone can do it. All the information is there. It has references for articles, changing angry behavior, stress scale, anger rules, mindfulness for children, a whole bunch of stuff. So if we look in one of, like, let's say the first session, it goes through what that anger management session would look like when you're doing it in a small group with maybe one child or a bunch of children. And so you'll see there's like the welcome song, there's a visual schedule, which actually shows you this, and you're able to print it off. You're able to use it for the session. And then if we go down here, we can see just kind of what happens within the progression as you go through the session. So you can see there, and then a hooray song at the end. So we'll go back, and then so each one of these 6 sessions, the information is there with links about how to run the sessions. So if we go over here, we can look in autism spectrum disorder, supporting children and youth. And in this section, you're going to see even more sections. And these sort of go through an introduction, setting the stage, observing, understanding behavior, setting goals and teaching new skills, developing communication skills, and all sorts of other stuff. And basically, when you go into each one of these, it has everything from tip sheets, links to tip sheets, and actual workshops that are related to that topic, as well as websites you can see on the side to get even more information. And I think ultimately what I love about connectability is that we know that the information is a reputable source. It's a true source of information, which I think is really important, because when you start Googling, you can find just about anything that you want to find. If you are looking for it, you will find it. And so it's just really great to have a good resource at your hands. So here is the one on behavior. And again, this is an example of what the videos will look like when it goes through those sort of mini workshops. And what I love about it for teachers, for families, is that the workshops are no more than usually like 7 to 10 minutes. Sometimes they can be even less. And it just goes through sort of an understanding of whatever topic you're interested in learning about. So here we have videos on attention ignoring, prompting and fading, task analysis, playing to learn, sharing and taking turns, lots of other fun stuff. And then if we keep going down, we see child and family programs, links to that. We see communication, creative circle time music. This is an awesome one. The centers that I support use this one a lot as well. What you can actually see is all of the songs for when you're running a music circle. Yay. And if you go in, there's actually some of my colleagues who are singing the music, which I think is terrific. So if we go here, we can see some information on emotional well-being, which is, I think, in this time and age and everything that's happened with COVID is just such an important piece of information. And so it talks specifically about what is child anxiety, anxiety in childhood, separation anxiety. Can't see that one. Children's grief and loss, and emotional literacy. And again, if we click in, we can go even further and see sort of what are some of the related content. So what is emotional literacy? Some of the related things, games, pulling games that you can play with kids. And just kind of a little article that you can do. And I do believe, Jason, you'll have to remind me, is there still a tab for printing it off as a PDF or not anymore? Oh, I think you can print.
Yeah, you can print and it will print the page, not as a pretty PDF though, unfortunately.
Okay. All right, so that was emotional well-being. And our team worked really hard on these fact sheets. And again, just, up to date, really important information about different types of specific disabilities that are out there. Grief and bereavement, off to school, another one, your children are transitioning from daycare and what's next? Where do you go and what do you do? It's such a whole new world of understanding. And so I love that this is available for families to be able to know what can I expect? What are some of the things that I should be teaching my child? And sort of what are the next steps, even so far as going to college, and some links for the person direct planning and planning for life after school. And then if we keep going, there's some information about rural small town Ontario, sensory and beyond. So looking at all of our sensory systems and having an understanding that there's more than just those 5 senses that we always talk about. And so it gives some good information on the proprioceptive and vestibular senses, which we know a lot of our kids and even us as adults are impacted by on a daily basis, and what some of that is, and to better understand it. If we go back again, we can see that there is a section on social. And again, we're just looking at supporting social skill development in children, videos to help us learn, tip sheets to help us learn more information, and all of that. Let's go back here. This is one of my favorites. There's a social skills program, which I used to run all the time and I can't run anymore because we're not in the classrooms, but that's okay. We'll get back there soon once it's safe. But this is an awesome, again, very similar to the anger management workshop that I talked about a little, where it's basically all of the tools and materials and resources and steps for taking your classroom or your child through the social skills program. So it talks about the different topics: listening when someone says my name, getting someone's attention, asking a friend to play, taking turns, anger management. And basically the program is typically done weekly. And I'll show you an example. So if we go into the session topic, sorry, it's thinking. It talks about what are the materials that you need to run the program. What does the schedule for the program look like? What are the rules? And then the step-by-steps and all of the resources that you actually need in order to run it will also be listed here. And so there's a visual schedule that's used within the program. We talk about group time rules. There's a little puppet show and a script for the puppet show. What are the steps for learning that skill? They read a book, they do an art activity, and then a worksheet on the topic that they're learning. And the idea is so that as you run the program for that week until the next session, basically the teacher of a classroom or a parent can practice those skills throughout the week to help their child or the children really hone in on what does it mean to listen to others, to ask a friend to play, to take turns and all of that. And then you progress to the next session. And it kind of goes in an order of what are the skills that we need socially. So that's a favorite. And then there's success for kids. Taking care of myself is a cool one too. So identifying skills to teach. And again, these are links to different articles I'll show you. So you can see that it gives you some ideas about how do you know what is the next skill, what are some of the strategies that you can use when you're teaching skills to kids. And if we go here, we can see some information about medicine wheel teachings that was shared by another community living partner. And some information about that. And that's it. So I think ultimately the biggest thing is that it's a really great resource where you can find anything and probably everything related to kids. And it's just a wealth of information.